yourself. Check yourself.
Their encouragement.
Wow.
I'd like to bring now, and we will have several speakers in a row representing the NAACP. Wade Henderson is here, I see him, and each of them will have an opportunity to speak. So in order for everyone to hear, I would ask that you listen intensely. Let me now bring, and I'll have him go ahead and bring the others, but let me bring both of these giants up. The Reverend Al Sharpton, ladies and gentlemen, and Martin Luther King III.
Thank you, Joe. Martin Luther King III and I sat, as others did, in the court and listened to the arguments. John Lewis, who was beaten on that Edmund Pettus Bridge in Selma in 1965 with Hosea Williams. The argument that was raised on behalf of Shelby County, Alabama, was that they should not be subject to Section 5 because there are others outside of the districts and the 9 states that are covered by the Voting Rights Act that are just as bad or worse. So in effect, they're saying that we're not saying we're not unfair.
Yeah. Yes.
We're saying we're not the only ones unfair.
Yes.
And I must say, and Wade Henderson has a better legal understanding probably than I can break it down. And Martin has a better spiritual, because I lose my religion when I see Clarence Thomas. But, and I know I'm on the air, and Clarence knows I feel that way. I mean Judge Thomas. But the fact is that their argument clearly dispels that they are even trying to defend anything. They say the fact that there are now black elected officials in Alabama means things are better.
Wow.
What made us feel a little better was first the ladies in the court, Judge Sotomayor and Judge Kagan and Judge Ginsburg jumped all over that argument and very aggressively questioned him on whether or not they're saying there was no discrimination. I think it was Justice Sotomayor that said very clearly that, first of all, there are no blacks elected statewide in Alabama.
Right.
How is that the case? And went through a series of questions. Then when the Solicitor General and government came to respond, Justice Scalia and the conservative members of the bench jumped all over him. I think that the height of insult to me is when Justice Scalia said, this seems to be a continuation or propensity of racial entitlement.
Wow.
I'm quoting him. That to continue Section 5 of the Voting Rights Act is a propensity of racial entitlement. No, Justice Scalia. What it is the continued discrimination.
Yes.
Is the propensity of white racial entitlement to stop us from voting. Yes. We are not here for racial entitlement. We're here to stop racial entitlement. Clearly, I think that we left not knowing where the court will go, but there was aggressive arguments on both sides. I think the government argument was strong. I think that the fact that you have a 5-4 going either way means this could go either way. Which means that we must leave here determined that if they vote against us, we go back to the streets same way we got the vote in the first place. not forget, we did not get the Voting Rights Act based on just some great legal argument. We got it because Martin's father and Fannie Lou Hamer and others went to the streets and demanded the right to vote. And we are prepared to do that again. We are not going to let them take from us what our grandparents and parents fought and suffered and died to give us in the first place. Many of us will be joining Rose Saunders and Senator Saunders in Selma this weekend. That's right. Because we want to make it clear that we have not gotten so cute and so refined that we don't march anymore. We march whether we got on brogans or Prada shoes. This is a challenge to this generation that we must show the determination that is alive and well in our community. Make it clear, and I'm so happy that it was raised in the court, that we're not talking about 60s. Last year, they ended early voting days. Or cut them back in many states. Last year, they used government voter ID that disproportionately robbed blacks of their right to vote. Last year, they used the fact that we were mobilizing Sunday souls to the polls and stopped it in many of our states. So we're not talking about something that used to happen. We're talking about things that are happening right now. And we need this Voting Rights Act and Section 5 to protect us right now. And we must show that determination right now. I said this morning and I repeat again, in the 60s, Martin Luther King had to fight Jim Crow. In the 21st century, Martin Luther King III joins those of us at National Action Network and NAA and Urban League in fighting his son, James Crow Jr. Esquire. He's a little slicker, he's a little more educated, he's a little more polished, but he's doing the same thing his daddy did. And we're going to show them we can do the same thing our daddies did. Our mothers and fathers beat your mom and daddy, and we're going to beat you just like they did. We are not going to allow you to resegregate this country. We're not going to allow you to bring back a non-voting ability to our community. Blacks, whites, Latino, Asians, gay, straight, it don't matter. We're united together. The power of the people will not be denied. So as we look out, I see Reverend Charles Williams from Nan, Detroit, and others. They're warriors of this generation that are ready to do what is necessary. No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace. I'm happy and honored to bring to you now the heir to the mantle of Dr. Martin Luther and Coretta Scott King, Martin Luther King III. I was getting ready to do my thing.
Hey, I got you. All right.
Let me say, as we prepare to hear from Wade and Rose and others, two things. I want to thank you that came from around the country. Right. Yes. I see Birmingham National Action Network. I see Detroit and from around the country. NAA, Reverend Kenny Glasgow, our ex-offenders have to vote. And I want to say that it is imperative that we bring in our college students, our young people. And Reverend Charles Williams and others of the young people. But I want to
Oh, yeah.
thank, and I think we always take it for granted, we are indebted as a people and a nation to our legal warriors, Attorney Michael Hardy, who came representing NAM and sat with the lawyers. Did a great job today as they work together. But this nation and this community is indebted to a man who has always been there and always made sure we had a voice and could be heard. And that we're not talking in the back to ourselves, we're talking to the nation. And that is the Black Eagle, Joe Madison.
Who is the president and CEO of the Leadership Conference on Civil and Human Rights, who